Welcome back to the Tea with JD. She's just a little late, but don't you worry. We're going to have an amazing episode for you today because I'm just feeling like a little angsty. I'm feeling a little sassy, a little spicy, and that's when I do my best work. So buckle up. I am coming off of a gorgeous weekend with my family and Mr. Roberts in Chicago. It was Mr. Roberts' first time being around the Brants for that long of a period. And we're traveling, so emotions are already heightened. Cortisol is already heightened, and we're already sitting at an 8 just in normal life. So with travel, with being around each other, it's just at a 10 at all times. If you need to lower your cortisol, don't go on a trip with the Brants because first of all, Paige and my dad they are two little anxious little Nellies. Everything is just always like, what are we doing next? Well, what if that happens? Well, what if this? They're the what if crew. Me and my mom can not be bothered. We're as everyone's limbs or everyone's phalanges on their fucking hands, then we're good. And then Bailey, we have to check her for her pulse. She is just along for the ride. So we actually made it out through the whole weekend with no sister on sister fight, those are the most diabolical fights. There's really no recovering on a vacation from a sister on sister fight. However, we did have a sisters v parents fight. And those are the most exciting because when us three are aligned together and we are on the same page against our parents, we are like a magical weapon that my parents, they can send they cannot stand up against the three of us. It's just impossible. And we are coming back with response. Anything they throw at us, we're whoopsh, whoopsh. They just can't handle it. So next time you decide to have 3 girls, just know that there may be a time that all 3 of them will unite. I don't know why I said it like that, against you. And Mr. Roberts got a front row seat and he was just jaw on the floor. His family does not talk to each other like that. I was like, Mom, shut the fuck up and listen to us. It's disrespectful, but I'm also 36 and she really did need to shut the fuck up and listen to us. Sometimes it's God, Dad, can you listen? And he's like, what? He cannot hear a goddamn thing, but he also isn't listening either. So I'm I need you to hear them when they're saying this, and I need you to acknowledge their feelings. And he's like, what? We need to get him some fucking ear or headphones. What is it? Hearing aids, just like Meredith Marks. But yeah, it was a risky decision. I don't think we realized we were having a family trip right after the election. Luckily for our family, it didn't really affect us because my parents aren't super political, and me, Paige, and Bailey are all on the same side. We were, very pro women. We're girls for the girls. So we were obviously a little, no more. I would say I was upset when I saw the election results. And now I'm going to talk a little bit about the election, but I don't really want this to be a downer against what the outcome was. It's more of the reaction, because I'm just I don't want to do it. I don't want to get into it, but I will say, this is all I'll really say on it. I did wake up the next morning and I did cry when I saw the results, and I was not expecting to cry. I'm a crier, but I don't cry over stuff like that. I'm not sensitive, but I wasn't expecting to feel the way I felt when I saw the results. And I think if anyone can just learn why people are so upset, I think Donald Trump to a lot of women just kind of represent men who have abused their power against women, or just mistreated them, or at worst abused them, assaulted them, whatever. He just kind of represents that for people. And he not only represents that, but he kind of empowers other men who feel like him, and they're more on the ground floor. They have more access to us versus him. He's just a figurehead, but he empowers the guys who have access to us. And it's especially when you're a female creator, and I don't fucking care. Come at me with your comments all day long. I can handle it. I'm 36, my frontal lobe's formed, and I'm the oldest daughter. I was in a sorority, and I was also a high school cheerleader. Okay. You think your words can hurt me? You have never been hurt until you've been cut down to filth by a angsty, PMS-y teenager. Now, I understand that this was a hot election, but the way the internet has now just done a 180, and now we have the liberals are now becoming the fucking boomers. Now, I understand not wanting to speak up about politics. I have no problem speaking up about what I believe in because I'm just, again, I'm used to conflict like that on the internet, and I can take it. But I also understand not wanting to speak up about politics. No one owes you their political beliefs just because they are a large creator. I think it is very important for creators to remind their audience that they should vote. And I think it's great for the creators that had, that they had done the research and they were informing their audience. But I also think that there is we are inundated by telephone information. And I know the right has this whole campaign against fake news, but I also think that they're not much better at fake news either because they regurgitate the information down the line until it's like, is this real? And then they're like, do your research. Well, how the fuck am I supposed to do my research when you're telling me I can't trust any goddamn news source? How am I supposed to do my research? And then their research is house and habit on Instagram, okay? And whether you believe in her or not, I don't know. I'm not here to say that. But it's just like, I was so over the fighting at the end of the election. I was like, can we just shut the fuck up? All of us. We have these large creators who are now they're asking their audience to take note of the other creators who didn't say anything about the election. And now you have large creators putting these smaller, like their audience. Sorry, let me rephrase that. You have these large creators who have now encouraged their audience to go on a witch hunt for every person who did not speak up about the election. And I totally get unfollowing people who you don't agree with their side. I've definitely done that. You are more than welcome to do that. My problem is with the witch hunt of it all. And then the larger creators encouraging their audience to go after people who didn't speak up because no one owes you their fucking political beliefs, okay? Why does Alex Earl owe you to tell you who she's fucking voting for? Her frontal lobe is not even formed yet. She parties 24/7. Do you need Alex Earl's opinion on her political leanings? I fucking don't. I'm going to do my own research and try to figure out the best candidate for me. Okay. Rant over. I'm sorry if that just, pardon me while I go do my stretch and folds. My sourdough journey is going really well. Thank you so much for asking. And I just want to end that rant on one note that I really just, I don't relate to the people who are like, yay, Donald Trump's our president. If anything, you're voting for what you believe in. But the fact that you're so pumped about Donald Trump, that's just the thing I just I can't get behind. I'm out of breath. Okay, let's move on to Zach Bryan. I need to yell about another man, not Donald Trump. I'm sick of talking about him. Okay, Zach Bryan and Brianna whatever her last name is, Brianna Chickenfry. Now, it is Thursday night. Should I catch my breath for a second? Hold on. Thursday night before we go to Chicago for our family trip. And I am literally waiting by my little Spotify account for that BFFs episode to be released. And I had mediocre hopes. I was like, we're not going to get a lot, but let's just hope that we get some tea. And my jaw was on the floor. The entire fucking episode, bar for bar for bar, was just tea after tea after tea. It was so fucking juicy. No one delivers tea quite like Dave Portnoy. I aspire to be on his level of tea delivery. Now, if you guys want just a brief summary. So the episode was kind of split into two parts. The first part, she is talking by herself. And first of all, get this girl a microphone. The audio quality was not great. It looked like more of a vlog situation. And then the second half of the episode was Josh, Dave, and Bree. Okay, so this is what she says in the first part of the episode. So basically, they decide that she's going to go on tour with him for a year. And then after his tour's over, she's going to go on tour for her podcast with her best friend, Grace. And I think that was going to be like maybe 2 or 3 weeks. It was like not a big tour, but he was going to support her on that tour. So after they get done with the tour, he drops her off and she's like, it felt like very much like he was just like, okay, bye. And he even said like, I'm not like discarding you. I will be back. I just like need to go do something, whatever. So it turns out that he tells her like, I've had a really rough year. I'm just going to stay home. Like, I don't want to tour. I want to relax. And she's like, you know what? That's totally fair. You have had a long year, but I still have to tour. I have to, fulfill my obligations. And also like, she's fucking working. Like, shut the fuck up, you little Lego headed prick. And so she said that he started playing pop-up shows at like Madison Square Garden while she's away. And she's like, wait, what the fuck? You said the whole point of you staying back from my tour is so you could relax. And now you're doing all these pop-up tours. Then this little fuck blindsides her and breaks up with her on her tour. So not only is he not even just like giving her the space to do what she needs to do after giving him an entire year, then he goes and fucking blindsides her and breaks up with her like the little prick he is. So she starts mourning the loss of the relationship. She starts, like leaning on her friends, going out, and then he contacts her and says he made a mistake, that, he needs her. He can't live without her. So she went back and asked for an apology. And he said, I will get to the apology. I just can't do it yet. Like, I'm sorry. Why the fuck do you need time to come up with an apology? Just fucking apologize. Like, what? Are you that terrible of a human that you don't know how to apologize? Are you that disconnected from human emotions and feelings? Even though you're this big songwriter, you can't fucking apologize to this girl? Prick. And it reminds me of, okay, it's just like all men are fucking the same. Okay. So the army guy that I had dated, now he kicks me out of his house after a week. I'm like, oh my God, I can never go back. Months and months and months go by. And then he just pops up out of nowhere and he wants to start talking like nothing is wrong. He misses our friendship. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't treat my friends like that. And I was like, look, you are trying to text me like nothing wrong happened. I'm going to need an apology from you, and it needs to be a phone call. I'm not doing this bullshit over text. And that was his thing. He was like, I don't like talking on the phone. Like, are you a fucking adult? You don't like talking on the phone? Like, how have you gotten this far in life? Not wanting to talk on the phone is not like, it's not an option. It's not an option to like just text people. I'm not a fucking pen pal. So I was like, look, I just need an apology. He's like, okay, I can't do it tonight, but I'm definitely going to do it. I just want it to be well thought out. And I'm like, okay, like an apology really takes 30 minutes. Like, you can't do it tonight. Like, okay, sure. Then I never fucking heard from him again. Well, I did until he like started popping up, but like he could not come up with an apology. And it's like, if you've never been emotionally like abused by somebody like that, I wouldn't say mine is as deep as Bree's. Like, mine was a whole different sort of like toxicity. But if you've never been like mind fucked by somebody like that, like it's so awful. Anyways, back to the other prick, Zach Bryan. So, when they're together in Boston, when he says like, when she asked for an apology, he said no. She said some bad things went down that she does not specify, but she said it was super, super bad. She's like, I don't even know if I'll ever speak on those, but like something bad went down. And then she said they wake up and they decide like they are going to move forward as a couple, and he's getting ready to leave. She gets the cold shoulder, which she said is kind of like his thing. He like kind of gives her the cold shoulder often, like lots of love and then taking the love away. Like that is just like clear emotional abuse. That's like stereotypical emotional abuse. And she said, okay, well, where are you going? He said, I'm going back to Oklahoma. She's like, good. Like, I want to go back to Oklahoma. And he was like, no, just me go back to Oklahoma. And she said, okay, well, can I have a hug? Because it seems like I'm never going to see you again. And he's like, oh my God, you're so fucking dramatic. And then gave her a hug. Like, this is literally so stereotypical army guy. It's like so crazy. So That same day, he made his Raya, like a fucking idiot prick he is. So he makes the Raya, and of course, people are sending her that people don't know that they had broken up. So they're like, your man's on Raya. And she was like, wait, what? Like, she tells Zach, like, dude, could you not have waited like a second? Because she asked him, like, before they go public with this, could she just have a week to just process her emotions before she had to address the internet, which I think is so fucking fair. And the Raya came out, and she goes, why did you make a Raya? And he said, I didn't make one, I reactivated it. Oh my God. Like, I truly fucking can't. I can't. And then she wakes up to the notorious poorly written Instagram post. Like, my God, you're a songwriter, and that's how you are going to announce to the world that you and your girlfriend have broken up. It looks like he literally spent like 0.2 seconds on it, didn't even proofread it, and just put it out to the open. So there's a couple quotes that really stood out to me. I really like that she said she is stronger than a weak man. And I feel like she needs to make merch that says that I'm stronger than a weak man. And it doesn't need to be like a shirt or anything. It needs to be like a sticker that girls can send to each other, because that is so fucking powerful. I am stronger than a weak man. Like, when you really think about that, like, I wish I had that quote when I was going through my 2 fucking idiot breakups. The second quote I really liked was Dave Portnoy saying, pay her or shut the fuck up. I'm losing my patience. I am going to say that in any, like, I'm going, like, pay me or shut the fuck up. I'm losing my patience. That is just, I don't know when I'm going to use it. I don't think I'll ever be in a situation where I'll need to use that. I hope I'm not, but it's just, it was so good. Now, some of the things that stood out to me, of course, was the Golden Globes fight. So Dave had kind of alluded to Zach and Brie having this fight around the Golden Globes. Of course, something that was a huge deal for her that he had to fucking ruin for her. Sorry, I'm cussing a lot. I hope you're not listening to this with children in the car, or do. Your kids could probably use a little edge. So Dave had said that the fight was around the fact that Brie said she was excited to see some actors on the red carpet, but in reality, it's even worse than that. So Zach was so upset at Brie's dress, which if you Google her dress, it's a gorgeous gold dress. Like it like, you know, a spaghetti strap, like is beaded, had a high slit. She looked beautiful. She looked very appropriate for the Golden Globes. She wasn't like this hoochie mama out there. And even if she was, who gives a fuck? She's literally like 24. Let her live her life. And so he is so fucking pissed. He's like, I don't want to date a girl that dresses like that. So disrespectful, blah, blah, blah. I'm a little prick. I should be from Prickafornia. Do you guys know where the heart is? Is he from, or what does she say? She goes, he's a prick. He should go and live in California. That's where all the pricks live. They should call it Prickafornia. And so all the while he is being like an emotional terrorist to her behind the scenes, then he reposts a picture of her from the Golden Globes and says, you are so beautiful. That is so psychotic, sociopathic, like small dick energy to do. He's trying to portray to everyone else, look at, I'm such a loving, doting boyfriend. And then behind the scenes, he is just tearing this girl down, whittling her down. And I know a lot of people are like, you could have just left. I'm sorry. She's dating a fucking famous musician. You don't think this bitch wanted to work it out just a little bit? And if you think you wouldn't do that, you're a liar. Another thing that I thought was so interesting was that he wanted to pay her double her Barstool salary so she would quit, because she was doing coming up on her Barstool salary renegotiations, and he wanted to offer to pay her double so she would quit. Now, that is just like classic narcissist behavior, trying to put a wedge between her and everyone in her life. It sounds like he put a wedge between her and her friends and family, her and her boss, her and her job. He wanted her all to himself. Like, is anything ever going to be good enough for Zach Bryan. No, that's the answer. And of course he kicked Dave's dog out of the dressing room. Diabolical. Kicking a dog out of a dressing room, putting her in a dressing room that was like worse for her. There was like a lot of shit she could get into. Dave had to constantly keep an eye on her instead of just having her in the dressing room with the other fucking dogs like the plan was to begin with. And then, you know, I'll get to the $12 million talk, but the final thing that was like the final nail in the coffin for her, she said, I don't know if this was the final nail in the coffin because I believe her birthday was like in the summer. And this was happened around her birthday. Now, Zach got Bree a house in New Hampshire for her birthday, for all of her friends, all of her family. It's while he was on tour, and he wanted to leave tour to go to her birthday, but he was making just like he was making her feel bad about it. He was like, oh, I can't believe I'm fucking leaving tour to go to your birthday. Like, how is that supposed to make her feel? Like, it's like literally bringing back so much drama in my life. Like, why would you do something nice for someone and then shit on them and say, oh, I can't believe I'm leaving tour to go to your birthday? How is that supposed to make her feel? And she was like, no, like, seriously, you don't need to leave tour. Like, we'd actually have a better time if your shitty ass wasn't there. But he insisted on coming, and he brought his bad fucking attitude and his small dick energy with him. So she said they're all sitting around a fire. They're all just like shooting the shit, having fun. They're trying to stay up till midnight to celebrate Bree's birthday. And then she said, Zach does what he does, and he starts throwing darts across the room, like throwing insults at family members. So she's like, okay, let's go to bed. Come on, Zach, let's go to bed. And she went up to bed hoping he would follow her. But instead, he stayed around the fire and continued to wreak havoc on everyone else there like a little prick. So Brianna says she wakes up from this, like, you know, going to bed, and she wakes up to screaming and crying from her friends. So she goes downstairs. Her friends are crying. We now can kind of assume that's probably Grace that was crying. And then she sees her aunt, her sweet aunt, trying to control Zach and calm him down. Now, she said that Zach was getting in people's faces saying, you're never going to amount to anything. Basically, you're a freeloader. You're nothing without someone else, blah, blah, blah. And he was smashing glass. And apparently there was like a video recording of it, which, oh, if this recording ever gets out, Bree said it would never get out, but I would love to see a small little square-faced man losing his shit over girls. Like, how big of a pussy? Honestly, no, insulting the pussies of the world would be calling Zach Bryan a pussy. What a small, tiny little insect weenie loser of a man do you have to be to scream in a girl's face? So after this incident, she said he would just randomly wake her up and put the camera in her face and say, oh, your friends recorded me. How does it feel? How does it feel? This man is diabolical. And anyone who feels like he's getting the short end of the stick here, you've never been in a situation like this. Now, let's get into the $12 million, because I've had multiple people kind of reach out and because I love to talk about this kind of stuff. So they were offering me their opinions. And I had people say, I think we all feel like we were in an abusive relationship when, we're just young or whatever. But I think some people forget what it's like to just be in that state where you feel like somebody has more money, more power than you, that has more influence, that has you keep seeing them sell out arenas. They have people, thousands and thousands of people singing their songs. That is quite the power imbalance. Bria is very popular on social media. She has a very strong audience, but seeing that versus this, that's a little bit more mainstream, and social media isn't quite as mainstream. So I could definitely see how there is a power imbalance in that. But when he's offering you $12 million for your silence, that means your story is worth $12 million. So for the normies, take the fucking money. If your business is not creating content on the internet, it's not telling stories, it's not telling people about your life, then yeah, $12 million, take the money and shut the fuck up. But for Brie, who was already kind of losing her audience, like people could tell that she was changing, that she had kind of lost herself and her audience was starting to like turn against her. Her having, first of all, the relatability of this story to share with her audience, to share like, look, I too was emotionally abused by somebody and mine happened to be this musician. And look, I'm going to even get over that. If I can get over this Zach Bryan guy, you can get over Chad from fucking Sig Ep, you know? And I feel like that just gives the girls so much hope. It's like the Taylor Swift effect. Like if Taylor Swift can go through heartbreak and get over it, like you can too. It gives girls so much hope. And also, the way I am hanging on to every single TikTok she does, her social clout just went up by like tenfold, by fucking tenfold. And I know Barstool notoriously, the only thing I think like hurts her in this, I think Barstool kind of like caps their creators at a salary. So she's not able to just like take a bunch of ads and like make money the way like Ariana Madix did. But I think like this is such a better long-term play because now she can tell her story whenever the fuck she wants. And that girl probably has story after story after story. And it sounds like she's a writer. It sounds like she documented it. So we are in for content for a really long time. And I'm sat. I'm totally sat for it. And when you date a Zach Bryan, there's only one way to go from there, and that's up. So I think, yeah, if you're a fucking normie, take the $12 million. But if you're Brianna Chickenfry, don't take the $12 million. I also don't think she would have really ever seen the full $12 million, the way they were like dicking her around. And it sounded like he kind of was holding her car over her head. It sounded like they were trying to throw an apartment in there, and a New York apartment could add up pretty quickly. I just don't think it would have been $12 million at the end of the day. Your girl is just on fire today. Okay, last but not least, we have some light and airy TikTok drama that is the perfect post-election amuse-bouche, and it's all about these overpriced pajamas, okay? People are up in arms over these overpriced pajamas, okay? So let me set the story for you. There are two girls, two influencers, and they have married brothers. So they are sister-in-laws by marriage. And they both kind of do their own little TikToks, and they make their own little relatable content for moms. And one of them is a pastor's wife. So she kind of built her audience off of budgeting and being a mom and being super relatable and being one with the Lord, okay? So people like those kind of people are following her. And then the other one is, I don't know what the fuck she does, but I saw this one video that she made and it was called like stadium snacks for football day. And she built out this dip situation with these like almost like stadium seating like types of containers around the main dish. And then around that is a row of Coca-Colas and Sprites. And then around that is a row of Corona lights. And so it's supposed to look like a fucking stadium. But I just have to ask you this question. Who the fuck is making this for football Sunday? Who is doing that? Because first of all, in order to get to the food, you have to reach your little paws over the line of Coronas and the line of Coca-Colas and Sprites. And second of all, are you serving your guests warm sodas and warm beers? No one is going to do this. This is so not functional. It's not useful. No one is going to fucking do this. I don't want to reach my hand over everyone to try to get to the little buffalo chicken dip and the little celery and the ranch. It's fucking stupid. And then she has this board of like a charcuterie board you can make for your Thanksgiving. And it's this huge ass board full of all of these meats that are spinned into like little flowers. And then in the middle, she has thankful written in cheese, but it's not like thankful. It's like thankful, like Full. I'm full. Who the fuck is doing that when you're hosting Thanksgiving dinner? You're making a turkey, you're making ham, you're making casseroles, you're making gravy, you're making mashed potatoes. You're running around trying to make sure that everyone's dressed and ready and your house is clean. No one's fucking making that charcuterie board that is probably $300. It's like, it just pissed me off when I went to her page. And then I'm like, okay, these are the kind of people we're dealing with. So these two decide to come out with a pajama brand. Now, backstory, there's also another pajama brand that is ran by another influencer, Mallory Irvin, and it's called In My Sundays. And apparently they have gifted these two pajamas before. I think they live in the same town. Why do I think that they live in Arizona? It would make sense that they live in Arizona because everyone knows Arizona is the Florida of the West, and these two are giving those vibes. But they have kind of copied the In My Sundays ads, which is so weird because you're both influencers and you're both selling pajamas. Like, why would you do that? I would work overtime making sure my shit didn't look anything like theirs, but I digress. But one of the main little like announcement posts that they had were these two in their little pajamas and they're holding up a cardboard sign, like the cardboard sign guys. And it said, looking for cute family Christmas pajamas, cute, not cringe. So I'm like, okay, what's their version of not cringe? I go to their website and I'm like, what is your fucking definition of cringe? Because I would not, if my boyfriend, husband, significant other was caught, they would never wear that. It's the cringiest thing ever. Okay, sorry, I'm like getting ahead of myself. So they announced this pajama brand and it's marketed as pajamas that you and your whole family can wear because everyone wants to be matching. They like to be matching. So they wanted to offer this cute, not cringe Christmas pajamas for you and your family to wear. So you're assuming if you are, you know, making pajamas for someone to buy as like a pack of, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc., they're going to be, you know, priced as such, especially with the audience that they have built. They have built this like audience that shops at Walmart, that shops at Target. They're on a budget. They have families, but they have priced these pajamas at $98 for the adults. And I think the kids were like $68, which is really expensive for like an average family to be spending like $500+ on pajamas that are, you know, look like they could come from Target anyways. So people are up in arms and they're digging into the fabric makeup. They also don't have a sizing chart on their thing, on their website. And the way they're explaining the price, the sizing is they run long, but not too long. Like, what the fuck is that supposed to mean? Like, how long is it? And then their return policy is really like sketch. It's, you can return it for store credit, but you have to pay for shipping. There's a 10% restocking fee, which is kind of like a shitty return policy when you have no idea how these are going to fit. And my main gripe with it though, is that they have marketed these as cute, not cringe. And instead of the men having the button down drawstring, like, you know, the classic Christmas pajama look, that's what's offered on all of the girls. But on the men, they are selling these t-shirts and joggers, and they are also $98. And these are the ugliest fucking pajamas I've ever seen in my entire life. And they look like they would be $25.99 at Walmart on like a 2-for-1 hanger. You know, the hangers that have like the hanger and then the thing hanging down, and then they have the 2 clamps for the joggers. And they're selling these for $98. And they're saying that these are cute, not cringe. Now, the back of these shirts have sayings like a little Christmas tree that says "it's lit," or a little Santa with a cookie that says "looking like a snack." What man is a grown ass man wearing a t-shirt that says what's cooler than being cool on it? Why can't he just put on the fucking button-down pajamas for one day? And by the way, these are Christmas pajamas. At most, you're wearing them for a month throughout the year. If you're wearing a Santa Claus on your pocket in January, you need to be spending your money on something different. Spending $98 and calling them Christmas pajamas for the whole family, and then you've built this audience of people who shop at Walmart and Target and expecting them not to get upset by that. You're so fucking out of touch. You are somebody who would make a stadium snacking plate on football Sunday. And the way these girls, so they came up with this video responding to the listen or their audience's concerns. And it's classic influencer video where we're like, we had an opportunity to learn from you guys. We're taking this as another opportunity to learn. But the blonde one is fucking pissed the whole time. If you go and watch the video, which I just made a video about it, so I'm probably 2 seconds away from being blocked. But the blonde is just sitting there and she's like, yeah, we decided that we're going to discount the pajamas from 98 to 75, which, by the way, when your audience is already at a certain tier, $75 isn't much better than $98. So you're already fucked. Like, you should have done a little research. I think when you're an influencer, you really need to get your audience involved. Like, hey, what do you feel comfortable spending on Christmas pajamas? Like, what do you want to see in Christmas pajamas? Do you want your husband to wear ugly fucking joggers and a really hideous white shirt? By the way, the white shirt isn't even like a nice, like, looking Lululemon shirt. And who buys their husband a white shirt to wear for Christmas pajamas? Men are animals. They're going to stain it. And the quality of the prints on the shirt are so bad. It's just so fucking bad. It is like the perfect amuse-bouche post-election. I am sat on Pajamagate TikTok. I don't know these pajama girls. Actually, the one brunette, the one that's like super smiley, she's like the perfect pastor's wife, where it's just like always a smile, always a smile. Even when they're mad, they're always a smile. Nothing can rattle them because there's always a smile. Like, are you a human or not? At least the blonde is like showing some emotion. The brunette's like, that's the thing. If you grew up like in the South going to church, there's this certain brand of like Christian girl that's just they're just blankly staring at you. They're not even blinking. And it's like, do you ever get mad? Do you feel like anger? Do you feel sadness? Do you feel like anything? Are you still with us? Are you a fembot? Okay, well, I think this is a great time to leave you guys because I have to go do my final set of stretch and folds. And I've been recording for far too long. And yeah, I think that's it. Thank you so much for listening. I love you guys so much. If I offended you, I'm sorry. You can leave it in the comments and I will, unless you're like an angry wench, I always love hearing from you guys. Like, we're not always going to agree on everything, but I like that a lot of the people who follow me, they feel very comfortable telling me their opinions, and like, I'm down to like listen, So if you don't agree with anything, just drop me a little DM and share this episode with all your friends. Make sure you subscribe to YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to Spotify. Play this episode on your boyfriend's phone. Just like turn it all the volume all the way down and just put it on repeat just so we get those listens. And yeah, that's it. Have a great night, day. Bye.